Hi there, and welcome to Graham's Guide Friday Live this Friday, the 20th of January. Let's get straight into it. So, today I'm going to be looking at essay structure, planning, subtopics, and reference list. Actually, look, I'm going to go straight to the reference list first. I've got a couple of examples from the assignment 2 reference list. Now, in assignment 2, there was an opportunity for 3 or 4 references that could be cited multiple times throughout your assignment 2 write-up. There was also an opportunity to do more research or use more than just 3 or 4 references if you were looking to get a higher grade. In this particular occasion, this is kind of like the minimum references that you would need for a pass. This could possibly result in a credit. There's only really 2 good references here. The Australian Psychology Society, the Code of Ethics, that's great. This is obviously was supporting the case study on James. And we needed you to talk about 2 future work skills, and the future work skills report has been referenced as well, which is good to see, although the author here is not correct. It should be Davies, Fiddler, and Gorbis. The publishing date was 2011. This is actually the title of the report, and the title was Future Work Skills 2020. But sometimes that gets mistaken. People think the 2020 is the publishing date, but it's actually the title of that report. They've given up on referencing altogether now. Oh well, they've copied and pasted the URL for this last reference or last source. It's not a peer-reviewed source by the look of it. It does look interesting. And so hopefully that was also supporting the discussion as well. It might have been used as part of the solution, section 4, to support the discussion on the solution. So there's 3 references here. I can see that there was possibly a good pass here, and possibly a credit grade could have resulted from if these references were used well throughout the body of the work. But let's look at another reference list from somebody who got a HD for assignment 2. And in this case, you see the reference list is, it's well formatted, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 references here. So that's a pretty good number if you're looking to get a HD. This work was obviously well supported. There's my phone dinging. So they've cited the American Psychological Association Practice Organization. So this is not an Australian, this does not refer to Australian practice. It would have been better if this was this. So they've got the Australian Psychology Code of Ethics, that's great. And they've used another source to further support their discussion, but they've used an American source, which is fine because the Australian source is already here. But because we're looking at Australian context, it would it probably would have been better to stick with all of Australian sources on this occasion. But no points lost for using this top reference here. That's all good. And then they've used another source as well to further support their discussion, also by the Australian Psychology Society, a document that talks about public complaints about psychologists. Now, presumably this might have helped inform or support their discussion for section 1, possibly also for section 4, when they were talking about possible solutions for the ethical issue. So already these 3 sources are telling me the person's done wider research and is very well informed to write the write-up of assignment 2. We also needed some discussion on communication. They've provided support. Their supporting sources for the section on communication was Baldovino, and I'd also mentioned Brown was a fairly good source to support your work, and so they've included both here. So that's excellent to see. And with the future work skills section where you were talking about 2 future work skills that would help you resolve this ethical issue. They've used the Future Work Skills 2020 correct, and they've cited and referenced it correctly. So the title is here, and these are the authors. Oh, except there is a typing error in our reference list, and Gorbis should actually be M. It should be M Gorbis. No points lost there because that's on us. We have a typo in our work. So they've also used I provided a link to more updated. This is from 2011, but there's an updated version of Future Work Skills 2016. Which I put in the discussions as well, and it looks like this person's read that because they're using this source as well. And in addition, looked up they've done some wider research and found another article about ethical and competent practice in the online age from August 2022. Well, this is an excellent reference list, and I can see that could easily support the write-up of a um, high distinction write-up. You can have these excellent resources, and maybe you haven't demonstrated your knowledge that you've read them, or you haven't used them well. And even though you've got these excellent resources, it may still be that you are only able to achieve a credit. Although, given this list, that would be unlikely. I think the minimum I think possible with this list would be a distinction. And in fact, as I mentioned, the person who used these sources to support their work on this occasion received a high distinction for their write-up of assignment 2. So you can see there the complete difference in this list here, this reference list, and this smaller reference list here that doesn't really meet the bare minimum because there's no mention here of Bolzvino or any other sources to support the discussion on communication, section 2. So anyway, that was one topic I wanted to cover, referencing. Let's move on from there. Now, the next thing I wanted to look at was the subtopics for this particular essay in assignment 3. So I'm going to go to our discussions and down to assignment 3. And where will we go today? Let's go into group 5. And so at the top of the discussion here, Tanya has provided a link to a Google Drive document. Let's click on that and go in and have a look look for the section that Tanya's provided on the subtopics or the content that needs to be discussed. So I'm just going to scroll down to where body of the text 7. And these are just suggestions for structure. I've also got a suggested structure a little bit lower in that assignment 3 discussion forum. Let me go down. Where is it? Page 7. Here we are, page 7. So Tanya said provide an introduction. Because there's so much to be discussed in this, it's probably a better idea to keep your introduction short, which Tanya has mentioned here, say 100 to 150 words. For a 1,500 word essay, I would normally recommend about 180 words, 150 to 180. But on this occasion, there's so much to be talked about. It's better to keep your introduction a little bit shorter. So, maybe a maximum of 150. And then Tanya's mentioned some things here to include in the introduction. But importantly, now I want to look at these subtopics. So the body text. Tanya suggested here 6 things to talk about. The first one is progress in time management skills, progress in your academic self-efficacy, progress in your learning and communicating online, progress toward your unit goal, and progress toward your course goal. And then finally, a paragraph on what you've learned about yourself. So each of those is what I would call a subtopic, and each of those should get a paragraph each. So with 150 words for your introduction, and I would suggest 150 words for your conclusion, that only leaves 1,200 words for each of these body paragraphs, which works out to about 200 words for each of these subtopics. That's not much. Um, in my, so I'm just going to come back out of here now and go into um, back to the assignment 3. So in back in here to the discussion, assignment 3 discussion. If you scroll down, you get to my suggestion, which doesn't include that 6th paragraph, but then you would want to sort of cover the information that Tanya was talking about in the 6th paragraph. What have you learnt about yourself? Well, you would want to sort of integrate that into your 5 body paragraphs if you were going with what I'm suggesting here. And that is, again, an introduction, your 5 subtopics, a paragraph each, and your conclusion. And as we know, the word limit should be plus or minus 10%. So the minimum, 1,350 words, and no more than 1,650. We stop marking at 1,650 words. So you're losing marks. If you're writing more than 160, 150 words, you're not gaining marks there. And it's probably in your conclusion, so it wouldn't be a huge penalty. You know, you're not going to lose a lot of marks, although it requires a conclusion. So structurally, you need to fit your conclusion within the 1,650 words. Otherwise, you may lose marks for structure if we can't mark your conclusion. So there's something about, where am I up to? 11, 12 minutes, good. So that's something about structure of body paragraphs, subtopics, planning, and that's planning too. We're talking about planning there as well. So one last thing I wanted to point you towards was, how can I get there? Okay, I want to get there without displaying people's personal information. So I'm just going to do something weird for a second. I'm going to go here and I'm going to scroll down past, because people have put their goals in the planner. People have put their names. I don't want to show you people's names, so I'm just scrolling past that, and then I'll bring this back in again. Where is it? Oh no, it's at the top. I didn't need to do that at all. What a goose. All right, let's go back here. Okay, so this is group 5 discussion. Okay, so from the top here, if you scroll down, apologies for that digression. If you scroll down, you'll see that I've included a new resource here, and it's my essay writing guide. A couple of years ago, I put together a writing guide to just help people generally with essay writing. This was not for Swinburne Online. This was just something that I put on the internet during COVID, because a lot of people were working from home, and I was working from home. It was just something for me to do as well. Anyway, the short story is I put my essay writing guide here. You can use it or not use it. It's just an extra resource that you may find helpful. I'll just, if you click on it, it will open up. And there am I on the front. Great. Let me just scroll past that picture. And I just want to show you some of the things that are in this. So that's a table of contents there of what's covered here. Let's go down to essay structure, because that's what we're talking about today. And I just want to go through a couple of things with you here. Okay, essay structure. The introduction includes the central topic. So you would start with a topic sentence that mentions the central topic. You would also mention the subtopics, which are your supporting points and ideas. So even though there are 5 subtopics to cover here, it's probably a good idea to mention those very briefly in your introduction, even if you just say, the topics that I'm going to cover are, and then just list them off. What are they again? My subtopics, the topics I'm going to discuss are time management skills, self-efficacy, learning and communicating skills, my unit goal, and my course goal. And I'll be talking about my development and progress in these areas. You know, the introduction can be as simple as that, but you also need to include, let me go back here, some context. So you would explain that you're talking about your time in this unit over the course of the 12 weeks, and you might want to make a thesis statement. And your thesis statement is really it's what you found after writing this. So usually you'd write your thesis statement after you've written your essay, and your thesis statement might be, over the past 12 weeks, I noticed that I have developed my skills in academic writing, and this is a and and that's what I'm going to show you in this essay. And then you start into paragraph one, where you start to. That wasn't really a very good example. So your thesis argument might be, over the past 12 weeks, I have developed academic skills and feel much more confident in my ability. Then you would go into your first paragraph um, subtopic, and you start to persuade your audience how you have developed over the past 12 weeks. And that's what it's all about, essay writing. You're about persuading your reader to your central idea, your argument, um, your um, thesis statement. So you want them to believe your thesis statement. And so these next 5 body paragraphs are providing evidence to persuade your audience that you have developed your academic skills over the past 12 weeks. Then I go in and I talk a bit more about body paragraphs and conclusion. But look, if you're interested in that essay guide, it's there and available. I've also provided it in a Word document as well, because in that essay guide, there's an essay planner. It's for an essay of 3 subtopics, but you need to massage that. You can use that from now for the rest of your days at university. You just need to massage all those different word lengths. So you might come up with a 5,000 word essay in second or third year. Well, you can use the same essay guide. You just massage those paragraph sizes and introduction sizes. Usually, just as a quick guide, usually the guide for introduction and conclusion is about 10% of the total word count. So in this case, the total word count is 1,500 words. So your introduction should be about 150 words, and your conclusion should be about 150 words. Alrighty, that's enough from me. I've talked way too much, nearly 20 minutes. That's a little bit disappointing, but look, hopefully there's some really good information there that you can take with you over the next couple of weeks as you are completing your final essay. If you've got any questions at all, please ask them in the Assignment 3 discussion board, where I'll be happy to answer your questions, and everyone else gets to benefit from your question as well, as I seem to say every week. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the discussions. Bye for now.